You've escaped the poverty that you grew up in. You're now an admin at a college. What keeps you going day to day, John?
I think my faith in God, the work that I get to do each day, it's very meaningful work, and it's easy to be inspired because not only are we helping educate people, but it is in the heart of Appalachia. It is the people that struggled with the same things that I struggled with growing up, poverty,
Yep.
addiction, substance use, all those things. So that helps to keep me motivated, and it helps to keep me grounded at the same time.
I loved working in higher education so much because the majority of the people that I was serving were the me's. They were first generation. A lot of them were being raised by their grandparents, for better or for worse, right? Being around the people. And for me, I was at a fairly young age, right? Like I was a financial aid director at like, I think 23 years old. It was like just a couple of years ago, I was that kid. And I see that a lot with you and your scenario, right? And I think it allows you to peel back someone's onion a little faster because you can say, "Hey, I was you not that long ago," and I think that plays a huge part. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely. Listen, so one of the things that I hadn't mentioned is that some of the symptoms of poverty had contributed to me dropping out of school when I was 15 years old. So I dropped out of high school, and I had to go back and get my GED. Since then, I've graduated college 3 times, and now have a master's degree. But that journey wasn't an easy journey, and it wasn't a 6 year journey to a master's degree for me. It happened in several stages. I feel like I'm in a position, as far as my experience and the experience I've had living in Eastern Kentucky, growing up in poverty, knowing what it's like not to have an education, changing my mindset and beginning to value that allows me to advise my students on how to change that poverty mindset and how to change that mindset that's going to keep you in these cycles and
Hmm.
how to get out of that.
That's awesome. We need more people like you, John. I talk a lot about being vulnerable. I know your seeds of vulnerability. I've seen what they reap. I see the effects of those. I see what is grown out of those seeds. And we just need more people doing it. Buddy, you know I'm a huge fan of an underdog. And I'd like to self proclaim I view myself as an underdog. Knowing your testimony, I would say you're probably an underdog. Do you like an underdog? Any sports teams right now, maybe in the NBA, that you see being an underdog right now that might just be an upset to someone?
Well, yeah, I love a good underdog story, Joe, and I think. Listen, I know that nobody's probably going to like this, but I think the Lakers were underdogs coming into the year, and now they have
Sure.
Luca, and they've got a shot at winning a championship. So,
They do, and I've been cautious to say those words, John. Like I've been saying it like way back here in the back of my head, but man, I think they've just went on an 8 game win streak, and I don't see them slowing down, buddy. That chemistry and LeBron being, you say what you want about the guy. Like I'm not a big diehard LeBron fan, nothing like that. But you see, he is a pass first kind of guy. He could pull a rocking chair out on that ball court and just simply pass to Luca, the 26-year-old, just turned 26, every now and then, get 20 assists a game, and they would win a championship. So I would agree. And you're right, it's probably not popular opinion.
well, no, of course it's not. What do you mean the Lakers are
That's right.
underdogs? A lot of people give LeBron a hard time, but one of the things that I really respect about LeBron is how he parents his
Yeah.
sons.
Yeah.
The fact that I've never seen him in any negative headline, nightclubs, casinos. You'll never see him in those top headlines.
Right.
You'll never see him in the cheated on his wife type
Yeah.
type stuff. Now he's not going to be the stand up for Christianity type like Steph Curry is, but
Sure.
you're not going to see him in those messy situations, and
Yeah.
I've always appreciated that about him.
I definitely appreciate that too, and I've got a lot of respect for him. I mean, talk about humble beginnings, talk about escaping poverty. I mean, I'm not just going to straight up put this out there. I'm not making the prediction, but how cool would it be to have LeBron talk about poverty on this podcast one day?
That would be awesome. I'm sure he could.
Yeah.
I bet he could.
I saw a video. It was is this year 22 for LeBron, I think.
I
So
think
they were talking about how, or I'm sorry, it was a side by side video comparison of his mom attending a game, giving him a hug and just a kiss on the cheek 22 years ago, and her doing it like last week or something. Like
Yeah.
the rock and foundation that he's had in her. And I'd love to have the world hear more about that. So who knows? Who knows? Here's the hoping that we get LeBron on. If I do, you're my guest host. That day, buddy.
Sure. I would love to be on with LeBron or Steph. Of course,
That's right.
I don't think Steph, had much of a poverty story because I think his dad was in the NBA.
That's right. But him and his wife are doing phenomenal work trying to help people in North Carolina overcome poverty. So yeah. Oh yeah. This is an open call. Any other NBA players want to come and talk about poverty? Let's do it.